Okay, this is 2.2. We are going to be going over the warm-ups. You have to be careful. So it is a function. That means I have to make my x value different so I can put 5, and I don't care about the y value. Not a function. We have to make it the same. However, now I care about the y value. I use the same x, but I cannot use the same y that x has. So now I'm good. That's not a function because the x repeat. Okay. This is a function. Y is a function of x. What is another way to write the value of y? F of x. F of x and y are the same thing. You have to get used to that. F of x means y. Then you come down here and now you see f of -5. Well, this is f of x, so it only makes sense that that is your x value, okay? That's what they're saying. So let's stop for a second and let's talk about yesterday a little bit. We were doing functions. So let's take this first function, number 1. It says f of x, but that could easily be y equals 3x plus 6. And then I have an xy table. And then I'm just going to make up values for x. I'm going to say 0, 1, 2. All right? Why did I pick those? Why not? Now, how a function works, this is called an input-output table. Your x is your input. Your y is your output. So I put x into my function. I get out my y. So y equals 3 times 0 plus 6. Y equals 3 times 1 plus 6. Y equals 3 times 2 plus 6. So when y equals 0, when x equals 0, what does y equal? Right here. When x equals 0, what does y equal? So yeah, 3 times 0 is 0, plus 6 is 6. So when x equals 0, y equals 6. When x equals 1, what does y equal? When x equals 2, what does y equal? 12. So what is this? Remember yesterday we were saying if you have the same x values without the same y value, it's not a function? Because what that means is if I had something, I cannot put 0 in for x, add 6, and come up with anything other than 6. If I do, you're not dealing with a function. You're dealing with something different. So if you see this, if you see 0, 15, is this a function? No, because you cannot put 0 in for x and get 15. You have to be dealing with something other than a function. A function is going to have y equals mx plus b. So if I put 0 in for x and I don't get 6, I get something else, it's not a function, it's something different. What is that something different? I don't know, but it's not a function. That's what we did yesterday. That's why if you see the same value for x, it's not a function unless the y value is the same. Because if I get 6 right here, right, if I put 0 in and I get 6, okay, it is a function. But somehow I put 0 in and got 15. That means I'm not dealing with a function. What does that look like? Well, here is your x and your y, okay? What values for x did I have? I had 0. When x equals 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When x equals 0, y equals 6. What else did I have? When x equals 1, what did y equal? So then I have 7, 8, 9, and I go over to 1. So when x is 1, y is 9. There's my next one. And then what did I have? 2 and 12. That's 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is what I was looking at. Does that pass the vertical line test? Function. Now, all of a sudden, if I now tell you, hold on a second, 0 can also equal what, 15? So that means I got a point that's way up here. Well, that's not a function, because guess what? That doesn't pass the vertical line test. I can't move them down. But do you get the idea of what I'm trying to say? So that's why all your x's have to be different. They can't be the same. Hey, how's it going? What are you doing down here? I can't hear you. Have a great day. See ya. Bye. Oh, I'm recording. I'm just talking to strangers in the hall. Get over it. Okay, so now let's go back. So now this says f of x equals 3x plus 6. So what does f of negative 5 equal? Well, this right here this is your y. That's your x value. So I go like this. 3 empty parentheses plus 6. And I'm going to put f of negative 5 right here. Why did I put empty parentheses? Why did I put empty parentheses? Why did I put empty parentheses? Because I'm going to substitute negative 5 in there, am I not? So then f of negative 5, what does it equal? That's negative 15. Negative 15 plus 6, please use your calculator. Negative 15 plus 6 is what? That's all we're doing today. So now go ahead and do number 2, but be careful. I want to know what f of negative 1 is. Equal. So now, watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to write my negative sign, my empty parentheses, my squared, minus 3, empty parentheses, plus 5. Everywhere I have the x, I put an empty parentheses. What goes inside that empty parentheses? Now, on your calculator, you can just put this whole thing into your calculator. F of negative 1 equals what, kids? Yes, we put in the calculator, we find that f of negative 1 equals 7. Okay, now, again, we use the calculator for these. So, everybody, well, that's basically it. So, if you have any questions, feel free to come in. Oops, nope, we got to do something else. Okay, so hold on. I'm going to finish this with the class, and then I'll be back. Okay, we're back. Now, evaluate f of 2. Well, when they say f of 2, they mean this right here. That is the point 2, 9, all right? Here, they want you to evaluate f of 3. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So f of 3 is right here. So here, f of 3 is at 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is my x value, this is my y value. My x value, my y value. 2 is my x value, then I find my y value. So now it says How do you know where to plug in the numbers? Evaluate g of 4, g of -2, g of -3, and g of 0. So now, how do you know where to plug in the numbers? Well, when x is smaller than or equal to 0, you plug it in here, all right? When x is bigger than 0, you're going to plug it in here. Now, these are all g's, see? So, when is x smaller than 0? X is smaller than 0 right here and right here, or equal to and right here. So, g of -2. G of -2 gets plugged into the top one. So I have g of -2 equals -5, empty parentheses, plus 2. Put my -2 right here. That gives me 10 plus 2. So g of -2, what does g of -2 equal? Yes, thank you. G of -2 equals 12. So now, g of -3. G of -3 equals, we'll go in the same one, -5 times -3 plus 2. So g of -3 equals 17. -5 times -3 is positive 15 plus 2 is 17. You should be doing these in the calculator, not writing them down. Writing them down does you no good. And then I have to do g of 0. G of 0 equals -5 times 0 plus 2. What does g of 0 equal? 2. Okay? So I know what g of -2 equals. I know what g of 0 equals. And I know g of -3 equals. So now I need to find what g of 4 equals. G of 4 equals the opposite of x squared. X is 4. The opposite of 4 squared. What's 4 squared, kids? No, 16. I need the opposite of 16. G of 4 equals -16. Got to do these in your calculators. So that's how you fill these in, kids. Now I have all my answers. I evaluated g of 4, g of -2, g of -3, g of 0. This is the same thing. You plug in for x, you complete the table. That's the same thing. All right. If you have any questions, please feel free to come in. Love you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye. Bye.